All right, guys, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of this item of the day that we've put on the website this morning. You can see the kilowatt meter put in. We'll talk about power demands in just a second. This should be way less than 5 minutes long. Anyway, this will make, if you're sitting here paying attention to it, 26 pounds of ice a day, I think, and that's a 24-hour period, obviously, and I'll explain in a second why what it does overnight isn't really productive and why I just turn it off once we go to bed, assuming I'm making ice, because I'm not always making ice, because it makes so much dadgone ice that you get to a point where you don't need any more ice for a while. So that means you're only using the power from it when you need it. Anyway, the way it works is really simple. There's a basket in here. I should have the camera woman do this, so I had the other hand free. There's a basket in here, and below that basket, there's water, and there's some ice down there because I took the basket out and it dropped some, and I'm not going to worry about that. It'll melt in time. I'm going to add some more water to it right after this. You do add water manually. You can see if I remove the basket, there's a line right there. And I would say fill your water just a little bit less than that. So it does require some maintenance, and it does have some limitations. It is super simple to use. You plug it in, you turn it on, and you select if you want small ice cubes or large ice cubes. This is a large size. I don't even know what the little size looks like because to me, those are perfect ice cubes. Here's the limitation. What will happen, maybe I'll get lucky and it'll run a dump cycle while we're doing this video. What'll happen when it drops the ice, this little thing here will go into the back and scoop it into here. If the ice builds up in this basket to where it tips that up, it'll stop making ice because it knows the basket's full, there's not room for any more. This is why I don't run it at night. This is the very reason I don't run it at night. This is not a refrigerator, it's basically a little cooler that makes ice. So as soon as it stops making ice, this stuff starts melting, and of course it's no big deal because it drips back in the reservoir so it can make more ice. The problem is it will melt kind of in an angle like this, and it will stay tipped up, and you come out in the morning and it's like 50% melted, but yet it's still not making more ice, and I end up throwing that ice away. So it's no big deal. When we go to bed, I turn it off. Well, this is great. Here's how it cycles. So it builds the ice around those little metal things, and that's how it's so dadgone fast. And it makes one batch about every 9 minutes, a little bit more than 9 minutes, like clockwork. It's like 9 minutes, 18 seconds. And then it'll dump it into the basket. That's simple. And like I said, all you do is keep it filled up with water. Now, here's a couple things. One, just like when you buy ice at the store, it's kind of wet. So when you put that in the freezer, it's gonna all stick together. So as we drop baskets in the freezer, we let it sit in there for just a few minutes so that it sort of freezes up and shells over, and then you break it up. My favorite tool breaking up ice in the refrigerator is actually just my sharpening steel. It just works perfectly. You don't really need an ice pick for it. Now, what I'm doing right now making ice is not just for this video. I have a big bag of ice out in one of my chest freezers. When that bag is full, we'll be good for ice for a while, and I'll turn it off and stop using it, and then turn it back on when I need more ice. And that's kind of how I recommend you use it that way. Run it during the day. Now, this is a great prepper item and a bunch of other stuff. And one of the reasons it is very gentle on electricity, right now it's kind of running a heavy part of the cycle. It's drawing 113 watts. And that means you can run this thing on an 800 watt, inverter that you can clamp to the battery of your car, put your car on idle, and make ice during a power outage, even if you don't have a generator. So it's awesome for that. It's portable. It's very easy to pick up and carry, especially when it's not full of water. It's not super lightweight, but it's lightweight enough that any person that's not a complete girly man can easily just carry it out to the car, throw it in your truck or whatever, take it with you when you go camping, when you go to an Airbnb, any place you have power. And even camping, you could make ice with it plugged into your vehicle running a cheap inverter. So it's just awesome. Now, you do want to make sure you're in the neighborhood of like an 800 watt inverter. Always go to the higher side of your needs with any power, backup power. And I did notice that when you first plug it in, it'll only draw like 4 or 5 watts for a little bit. And then when it starts to cycle, it will come up to about 420, 430 watts for just a little bit, and then it'll drop back down. And during a cycle, it will at times be only drawing 3, 4, 5 watts, but most of the active cycles can be in that 120-ish watt range. That's a lot of ice. That's a lot of ice you can get for very little power requirement. This thing is awesome. This one cost me 88 bucks. Last thing before I finish this video, damn, I'm gonna go over my 5 minutes. This is black stainless is what it's called. I got it for 88 bucks. They come in black, they come in red, they come in stainless, they come in like one other color. You'll notice on Amazon, all the colors are different prices. And usually one color will be the cheapest at any given time. Why? I have no idea. Color's not important to me, except I don't like stainless because, you know, this fridge is an example. It just is very difficult to not have smudges on and keep clean. We've made a decision going forward. Like there's my new gas stove. Every time we replace an appliance, black stainless is the way to go. So I like black stainless. Don't really care about it with this thing right here. I would say unless color is important to you, whatever color is the cheapest at the time, get that one because they all work the same. I'll catch you later. There's a complete write-up in the video notes below where you can learn more about this and get your own.